Okay. So hi everyone. My name is Kakkala, and today, we will be we are here for a session called RAG, which is like Retrieval Augmented Generation, and this will be a part of AI and ML. And before we start the session, since this session will be uploaded in YouTube, I'll share screen to diversify content because when I upload in YouTube, since my content is diversified with podcast, finance, lyrics, and bit of other stuff. So I'm just sharing screen to show how things work here in Sarakala's world. So you just had to remember my name, Sarakala, and you have my LinkedIn, YouTube. This is Udemy. Ignore this one, Surfshark. Yeah. And in YouTube, everything is separated by contents of blog. Sorry, playlists. And this session here will be uploaded in AOps, MLOps with Sarakala English because this is a part of AI session. And same way, this would be uploaded in the my website in contents of the blog website. So I'll be uploading a session here, saying RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. And before that, what exactly RAG is, how do you define RAG exactly? Maybe before defining, we could take an example. Let's say if I ask you, I watched a film years ago and I actually forgot the movie name. So what would you generally ask? Might be you're someone movie lover or something, and you might ask explain at least a scene from a film. If I say I had just watched a ship uh, just got collided with an iceberg and people drowned and died. So your immediate answer would be Titanic. Maybe you might watch a lot of films, and in that you were able to exactly say the title Titanic. How did that happen? Because you remember that scene, and when your brain has collection of lot of data, but I did not had to explain complete film for you. It just had to I had just had to explain a single bit of film, and you're able to get the title, you're able to relate the other scenes as well in the film, and now if I ask any question from the film, you'll be able to answer it. So it is like that. The RAG works the similar way. Let's say if you join a company, maybe you have a list of documents, let's say number of documents inside. We could take example of P1 incidents, or it could be anything, KT documents or anything. Let's say I'll take an example of P1 incidents here. There might be n number of P1 incidents. When P1 incidents occur, when a production site is down, there'll be investigations, there'll be what happened and how it happened, even with the time stamps, what happened when, who resolved it, and how it did it got resolved, what's the downtime. So every step would be there in a P1 documents, more like an RAC documents. And let's say if the similar issue occurs, let's say if a Kubernetes certificate fails and a similar issue occurred, and there are 1,000 or 2,000 documents with me, it'll be impossible for me to go through all the documents and to get an answer. So that's where we use this RAG. RAG is nothing but you're giving AI access to your internal documents, because ChatGPT and all these external GPTs, they don't have access to your internal data. So this is where RAG comes place. You give access to your documents to AI, and you could just retrieve the information from it. So that's how. And how does this RAG work? Simply, let's say if you have a document, and in this documents, we will be dividing into chunks. Chunks is nothing but having a small parts of a document. Let's say if we compare this to an example of a film movie, like you have the introduction scene, you have the interval scene, you have the climax scene, you have the highlight scenes. So as I say, I gave the example of Titanic. It might be some highlights of the film. So because that's how we remember things, right? The same way, instead of giving a complete document to AI, what we are doing is we're dividing into chunks, means a complete big document into small hits, so that the search would be easy for it. And these chunks would be divided into embedded into vectors. And like because AI does not understand the keyword languages. Say like if I say a dog or like cat, it doesn't understand. The way it understands is with like ones and zeros. So that is where like we are going to like whatever chunks you divided, like we are going to embed it in embed it means like we're going to change it into vectors. And why this vector helps is like when you're giving an AI search, it goes for nearby search, like how these vectors are divided. Let's say like if you have like a dog has a vector like 0.82 or 0.15. Maybe this 0.82 represents an animal and 0.15 represents a pet. Same way, if you take the vector of a cat, like 0.79 might be an nearby animal and 0.18 nearby a pet. So if I search for like in AI, if I search for a dog, it will search for the vector like which matches the dog. It should be like 1 1, or near near vector is cat. But it does not show car because like as you see, the car vector is too far. Matlab, here it's 0.79, here it's 0.82. So the closest vectors, like it will search for closest vectors. Here we're not giving close keyword searches because at that time it could be any mistake because you don't know whether the documents is getting related to it or not. So it is like that here. Yeah, till here things are clear, right? It's simple. Like you'll take a document, you'll chunk it up, and then you'll divide it into vectors and we'll feed it into vector database. And that is where our RAG comes place. Once that vector database is there, like we will be having RAG, it's retrieval augmented generation. When you search for a question or something, it retrieves the complete data because you divide it into chunks. It don't have to like search all the documents, it searches in chunks. And then augment, it's where like it will generate this chunks of data to the LLM for the context to read it. And generation is where this LLM gives you back the answer. We'll also understand this better with an example. But till here, things are clear or not? Do you guys have any doubts till now or no? You guys could just unmute and speak for once. User, fine.
Yes, I got good.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, due to network issue, I was disconnected.
Okay. No, no worries, bro. Okay. Till here, things are clear, right? It's just like dividing a big part of documents into small parts and feeding into AI. So we'll
You will
and
share this
Yeah, hi.
blog, everything, like Sagar.
yeah, I'll share. It's public as well now.
Okay, okay, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now we'll
Yeah.
understand this better by yeah, Vivek, you had any question?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
You showed that a vector database is storing in the matrix base, right? And you said that point minus 0.7 something. So
hmm.
what it is? It is picture or it is a code of picture?
No,
May
no,
I know
no.
that?
It's not a picture. Let's say you have a graph. Maybe I could just show you like this. Okay, lines. I cannot get lines. Okay, maybe like think this completely as a graph paper that you use. So, how does this happen? Is like here is a dog. So, like we used to point out in graphs like that is in like x-axis, y-axis at this point. If you remember, this should be like x7 or like y1. Uh, if you take this center as x-axis, this center as like y-axis, is it x1 like y1, right? So this dog and cat might come in the similar vectors. Matlab, means like it comes at a similar graph levels. And car might come here somewhere bottom of the graph. So like based on like AI divides it into vectors, you don't know like what exact vector formulas it has. So AI like takes place, okay, the dog and cat are a similar words or like the similar animals or something. So I'll place this at nearby this vector, and car is like a vehicle and which does not relates to this. So this is how like it places it into another vector, kind of like another dimension you could think. And there are like similar vectors as well. If you search for a dog, what it does, like instead of like going into like this vector, it will start going into this vector to search like similar words like dog and nearby cat. Same way there are opposite vectors as well. Like for example, there is word like hot, and if it is vector is like 1, and cold vector cold, and let's say there is another word called cold. So cold would be complete opposite, right? So this would be 1 and this would be -1. So that's how it divides every words into vectors for it to understand things better, to have like synonyms and everything. Clear on this vector part?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Mm. Okay, we'll start by implementing RAG. As I said, like we're feeding it into AI agent. Since like we'll be using Ollama here, you could just download this Ollama, and like since I already had Ollama, I'm just not downloading it again. And you see, like we have list of models here. We could use like any model here, like to integrate it with Ollama. I'm just like using Ollama. Once whatever is your Windows or Mac or Linux, you could just download accordingly. Once Ollama is downloaded, this is where I'm using a RAG documents here, because like let's say like these are internal documents, and I had this like Docker image failure. Like I took like three P1 incidents. Like in reality, you might have like a thousands of like P1 incidents or like documents or a lot of things. So I thought like for this demo, I just took like three P1 incidents. Let's say if there is a like failure Docker deployment and it's critical, and like what just happened, what is the situation? There is a corrupted image, and like what would could be the symptoms, and like how's the downtime and the error messages and the root causes. And I'm asking like what did the like support or like the DevOps guys did, like or the SRE guys did here is the kind of like the commands that they used, and what are the preventive measures that taken so that like these incident doesn't happen again. Same way Kubernetes certificate expiry, and also what if like our AWS RDC storage got full, and we will be just increasing storage of it. So only these three incidents I took. So I'm just cloning the repo here. Yeah, okay, I did not add the code blocks yet. I'll be adding the code blocks later. So I just like cloned the repo, and once I had cloned the repo, maybe yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, let me push this code as well. Better. I think 1 second. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll be explaining it from here itself. So let me delete this ChromaDB. So here, all the three documents are there. First thing is like we are going to feed our model. Uh, okay, first thing is like we'll be installing the packages first. Let's say. And before I install the packages, I'm like doing this in a virtual environment. Maybe let me go for virtual environment itself. Ah, sorry, my bad, it did not copy. It is activated. Make sure Python is installed. I forgot to keep it in the blog. So you should have Python for it. So first thing what I did was like complete the documents are there. Like I'm going to like ingest it. As I said, first, what are we going to do here? Like we are actually LangChain is just like your RAG core framework. And here, since I'm actually using like .md, which is like markdown files, so I'm just like using markdown head filters and like Ollama embeddings. Ollama embeddings are the one which is going to convert your text into ones and zeros. So that's like embeddings here. Like once embedding is converted, we are going to insert that embeddings like ones and zeros data into database, and that's Chroma, like ChromaDB for you here. And here what I'm doing, it's like I'm going to like dot instance file, I'm going to read like whatever files that are going to end with like dot md, and I'm loading the documents. And here is where I'm actually dividing the headers into title and session. And once I had split the sessions, I'm going to divide my session into chunks. What does this mean? Like title and session. Let's say the title is like Docker image failure, or like failed Docker deployment. So this is one title, and like the session would be like the way it saves chunks is like failed Docker deployment downtime and failed Docker deployment error message, failed deploy document root cause. It's like let's say same way Titanic introduction scene. It'll be like one Titanic like climax scene. It'll be one kind of like I'm dividing every big document into small chunks. Understood how it's being divided into chunks, right? So this failed Docker documents and this error messages, like everything would be part of one chunk. Clear on this chunk? You could divide it anyway, but the way it makes a meaning, like we'll be dividing that into chunks. Once the chunks are divided, we're actually seeing like how many chunks it made, and like this is only two chunks. It's like bigger data into smaller data, like we're just dividing it. And now comes the embedding, and to embed the data, we are going to use Ollama model, nomic embedded text. I think here I had to, yeah, here is where I'm actually getting all the modules, Python modules, and since like Ollama is already installed, I'm actually using this model, nomic embedded text, to make our things simpler. I'm using this Ollama model, and also Ollama pull Llama 3. Llama 3 is something like which gives your answer. It's like one model to embed to convert your data to vectors, and another model I'm importing for us to give the answer. It's more like our own chat GPT. It's clear, right? And once this is there, as you could see, like we am actually like creating a new folder called ChromaDB, which is nothing but our ChromaDB is nothing but a vector database. This is a different database which stores like ones and zeros. So I'm just giving, because I had packages already installed. Let me go for, yeah, maybe this not installing packages again. Okay, I think I had to reinstall packages. Fine, my bad. Hmm, Let me reinstall. Okay, since this is a virtual environment, I had to reinstall. Meanwhile, let me also copy models. One second, let me check. Unknown command list. Okay, I think. Okay, yeah, Llama 3 latest, because I don't want to install Llama 3 again because it was like 4.7 GB. So I was just checking whether it's installed or there. Okay, so it's already there. I'm now actually giving Python. Okay, let me save this. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, it might take some time. Yeah, as you could see, total chunks created 11 and vector DB created successfully. So if I see now, like there is new like folder, as you see, like ChromaDB. This is our vector base. Now what we are going to do, we are going to go for like RAG, and we are going to like import this ChromaDB, which is like more for us to get like whatever data it's there. And also we are getting back the embeddeds, and also the chat Ollama is the one our agent, let's say like to chat with our agent. We're just like giving it like feeding the data completely, and we are going to ask, and like k is equal to 3 is like chunks, like till how many chunks like it could read, it could get the data till 3 chunks of data. So I'm just giving a prompt. You're a DevOps incident assistant. Use only the context below. So because if this is internal, I'm asking it to give the context below, and I'm asking it to answer. Let's say now. So let me ask a question. Like let's say a junior joined and a Docker deployment failed. Yeah, it actually takes a bit of time to get the response. Only that I found it. Mm, mm, mm. Yes. Okay. I think like it gave the wrong answer, I guess. The error message suggests certificate or invalidate issues. I think like it because the deployment failure. I think like it took this. I should take this. Okay. Let's go for. Let's ask another question. This is AWS RDS. Then the solutions this must give is, yeah, increase this database storage is the one it has to give for us. I don't know. It only actually took only K8 certificate. I don't know why it didn't any else. What happened to it? Let me re-ingest again because it was able to read only Kubernetes thing and nothing else. Okay. Any mistake here? Okay. Five lines with, yeah. Okay. We had it in a loop. I think it's able to only get this. I did not observe this, like it's some like rack failure or something, or the ingestion failure. Uh, 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 mm, I got ChromaDB. Yeah, this is something I did not expect. Yeah, fine. But you guys understood like what how RAG works, right? I'll stop it here. Yeah. Yes, no. I think like it was able to ingest only one document there. So that's because it was able to give only Kubernetes doc and nothing else apart. I'll just stop this here. I'll reinvestigate later because I'm having a bit of time constraints now. Yes, clear on like how things work, just like data to chunks, chunks to embedded, embedded to DB, and DB to agent.